Deep within the earth, secrets lie waiting. On the beautiful island of Mindoro in the Philippines, a remarkable discovery has been made. Scientists have unearthed a collection of stone tools. These are not just ordinary stones, they are carefully shaped, crafted by human hands tens of thousands of years ago. The tools tell a story, a whisper from a time long past. They speak of a people who lived here, not just on the coast, but deep inland. This find is extraordinary because it suggests something truly profound about the abilities of these early humans. It hints at a journey, a great voyage across the waves that brought them to this very spot. These ancient tools, dated to be around 40,000 years old, are more than just implements for survival. They are evidence of a sophisticated culture, a community with the knowledge to create what they needed from the world around them. Imagine the scene, a small group of people gathered together, striking stone against stone with immense precision. Each flake that fell away was part of a plan. They were crafting axes to chop wood and sharp-edged tools to cut through tough materials. This was not random chance, it was technology, born from necessity and intelligence. These simple-looking objects were the key to their existence. The location of this discovery is what makes it so astonishing. The island of Mindoro has never been connected to the Asian mainland by a land bridge. Even during the ice ages when sea levels were much lower, a deep and treacherous channel of water always separated it. This means the people who made these tools could not have simply walked there. They must have traveled across the open ocean. This single fact changes everything we thought we knew. It forces us to look again at our ancient ancestors, not as primitive beings, but as pioneers and innovators, capable of incredible feats of engineering and exploration. So, as we hold these stone artifacts, or rather, look at their images, we are connecting with a distant past. We are touching the legacy of a people who possessed a deep understanding of their environment. They knew which rocks were best for toolmaking and how to shape them for specific tasks. This knowledge was passed down through generations, a vital inheritance that allowed them to thrive. The tools found on Mindoro are not just relics. They are a testament to human ingenuity and the enduring spirit of discovery that has defined our species for millennia. They are the first chapter in a story of maritime mastery. To leave the safety of the shore and venture into the vast, unpredictable ocean requires a special kind of courage. For these early humans, the sea was not a barrier, it was a pathway. But it was a path fraught with danger. They would have looked out at the horizon, a line between the known and the unknown, and made a choice. They chose to build vessels capable of carrying them across the deep water. This was not a simple task. It demanded immense skill, planning, and a collective effort. They needed to fell large trees, hollow them out, and perhaps craft outriggers for stability against the powerful ocean currents and waves. Imagine the intelligence required to design and construct such a craft. These were people with no written language, no complex machinery. All they had were their hands, their stone tools, and their profound knowledge of the natural world. They would have understood the properties of different types of wood, knowing which were buoyant and which were strong. They would have used plant fibers to lash timbers together, creating a vessel that was both sturdy and flexible. This was engineering in its purest form, a brilliant solution to a life-or-death problem. Their boats were their lifeline, their ticket to a new world and a new future. The journey itself would have been an immense challenge. They had to navigate without modern instruments, relying instead on the sun, the stars, and the patterns of the waves. They needed to understand the winds and the currents, using nature's own power to guide them. This was a deep, intuitive science. They were not just passengers on a boat, they were true seafarers, masters of their environment. The voyage would have tested their endurance, their teamwork, and their resolve. It was a leap of faith, powered by the hope of finding new lands, new resources, and a safer place for their families to live. This act of crossing the sea demonstrates a level of cognitive ability that is truly inspiring. It shows us that these ancient people could think abstractly. They could plan for a future they could not yet see. They could cooperate on a complex project and trust one another with their lives. This bravery was not born from recklessness, but from a calculated understanding of the risks and the potential rewards. They were not simply drifting, they were purposefully exploring. They were pushing the boundaries of their world, driven by the same curiosity that still pushes us today to look towards the stars. The arrival of these early humans on islands like Mindoro was not the end of the story. It was the beginning of a new way of life. Each successful voyage created a new home, a new settlement in a chain of islands that stretches across the vast Pacific. These were not isolated events. It is likely that these seafaring people continued to travel, maintaining contact between different island communities. Their boats were not just for one-way trips of discovery. They were the threads that wove a complex web of human connection across the ocean, a network of trade, culture, and shared knowledge. This ability to travel between islands was crucial for survival. Island ecosystems can be fragile. A single natural disaster, like a typhoon or a volcanic eruption, could wipe out resources on one island. But by being connected to others, these communities had a safety net. They could trade goods, share food, and even move to a new island if theirs became uninhabitable. This maritime network made them incredibly resilient. It allowed them to adapt and thrive in a dynamic and often challenging environment. The sea, once a formidable barrier, became their highway, their source of security. Through these voyages, knowledge and ideas would have spread. Imagine a new tool-making technique, discovered on one island, being shared with another through a visiting boat. Stories, traditions, and genetic diversity would have flowed across the water, enriching each community. This created a vibrant and interconnected culture, spread across thousands of square miles of ocean. We can see the legacy of this today in the shared cultural traits and languages found across the Pacific Islands. It all began with these early pioneers, whose courage opened up a new world and laid the foundations for future generations. The boats themselves were at the heart of this island-hopping society. They were more than just transport. They were a central part of their culture and identity. The skill of boat building would have been a highly respected art, passed down from parent to child. The vessels would have allowed them to fish in deeper waters, expanding their food sources far beyond what they could find on land. In every sense, these ancient Filipinos were a maritime people. Their lives were shaped by the rhythm of the tides and the call of the horizon. Their legacy is a powerful reminder that human societies can flourish by embracing connection, not isolation. This discovery in the Philippines is of monumental importance. It fundamentally changes our understanding of early human migration and capability. For a long time, it was widely believed that humans only developed the technology for long-distance sea travel much more recently. The idea of our ancestors crossing open oceans 40,000 years ago was considered unlikely, if not impossible. This evidence from Mindoro challenges those old assumptions. It pushes back the timeline of maritime exploration by tens of thousands of years, revealing our ancestors to be far more advanced and daring than we ever imagined. This finding rewrites a key chapter in the story of human expansion across the globe, particularly in Asia and the Pacific. It suggests that the settlement of places like Australia and New Guinea was not a series of accidental drifts, but part of a wider, deliberate pattern of maritime exploration. These ancient Filipinos were not an anomaly. They were part of a wave of seafaring pioneers who had mastered the ocean. It shows that the colonization of the vast water world of the Pacific began much earlier and with greater sophistication than previously thought. Our own human story has just become deeper and far more impressive. The implications are profound. It means we must now view the cognitive and cultural development of early Homo sapiens in a new light. To build boats and navigate oceans requires complex language for communication, the ability for long-term planning, and a deep symbolic understanding of the world. These are the hallmarks of modern human behavior. The people who made these tools on Mindoro were not just anatomically modern, they were behaviorally modern. They were thinkers, planners, and explorers, just like us. This discovery helps to close the perceived gap between our ancient ancestors and ourselves. Ultimately, this story is a source of immense inspiration. It is a powerful reminder of the incredible potential that lies within the human spirit. These ancient mariners faced a world of unknowns with courage and ingenuity. They did not see the ocean as an end, but as a beginning. Their story encourages us to face our own modern-day challenges with the same spirit of exploration and resilience. Whether we are exploring the depths of the sea, the vastness of space, or the frontiers of science, we are following in their footsteps. They teach us that with bravery, intelligence, and cooperation, there are no horizons we cannot cross.